We are the Brotherhood of Steel.
Did you see the size of that airship?
The Brotherhood's here to start a war.
Weapons, pots.
Back in Capital Wasteland, the Brotherhood was a force to be reckoned with. But them, plus a giant airship.
Yeah, have you ever seen anything like that? They must have an entire army on that thing.
Deep into that darkness peered. Long stood there, wondering, fearing.
Freedom is the sovereign right of every American.
The saviors of the wasteland, the unified Brotherhood of Steel, operating under the command of Elder Arthur Maxon, last of his line and direct descendant of the Order's legendary founder. The Brotherhood as we come to know them is an extension of this great man and his indomitable will, a will that drives his crusade to cleanse the world of corruption, cleanse the world of synths. In the year 2254, a detachment of the Brotherhood of Steel was dispatched from Lost Hills, the Brotherhood's headquarters in Southern California. This detachment had a single goal: to scour the East Coast, its cities, military departments, and bases, in order to recover any and all advanced technologies, and keep them out of the hands of wastelanders. Operating under the command of Paladin Owen Lyons, the detachment embarked on a lengthy expedition, finally arriving on the East Coast a year later, in the bombed-out ruins of DC, now known as the Capital Wasteland. Shortly after arriving, they established themselves in the ruins of the pre-war Pentagon, utilizing its central location and infrastructure to their utmost advantage. The ruins of the pre-war always carry with them the untold tales of its predecessors, and deep within the Pentagon, amongst the many sublevels, lied a top secret, 2 centuries past. There in that iron casket, dreamt the sleeping giant, sweet dreams of liberty, freedom, and justice for all. Upon the discovery of the Liberty Prime combat system, the directive of Lyons' detachment had changed. Lost Hills now required that Lyons make the Capital Wasteland his home, and continue the search for further advanced technologies, all the while keeping guard over the Iron Giant. Over the years, Lyons began to stray away from the Brotherhood's original mission of tech recovery, opting to conduct war on the new super-mutant threat plaguing the Capital Wasteland. This, accompanied with the reappropriation of resources to humanitarian efforts for the people of the Wastes, practically ceased all progress on the collection of advanced technologies. Lost Hills quickly became frustrated with Lyons and his refusal to follow orders, eventually denouncing the entire chapter and cutting off all support. Losing the aid and reinforcements from Lost Hills had dealt a massive blow to the chapter, and if that wasn't enough, a civil revolt amongst the ranks would see the chapter lose a significant amount of their members, with those in favor of retaining the Brotherhood's original purpose seceding from the main force and adopting the term outcasts, an insult once hurled at them by their disgruntled brothers, now a badge of honor. In 2277, Lyons' Brotherhood, with the help of a lone wanderer, would divert their attention from the mutant threat plaguing the wasteland to wage war against the newly surfaced enclave in the wastes of DC. Weakened by their long war of attrition against the super mutants, the Brotherhood would rely heavily on the newly awakened Liberty Prime, who, with little effort, would deal a crushing blow to the Enclave forces in the battle for Project Purity. Continually outgunned and outmanned, the Brotherhood was successful in routing the Enclave on several occasions. That is, until the Enclave destroyed Liberty Prime with an orbital strike during a Brotherhood assault on one of the Enclave's satellite arrays. In a last-ditch effort to defeat the Enclave before they were eradicated, the Brotherhood would regroup and launch an all-out assault on Adams Air Force Base, the new home of the Enclave after the mysterious destruction of their previous headquarters at Raven Rock in the wastes of DC. However, this was merely meant to act as a distraction. The primary objective involved a lone wanderer slipping into the base during the chaos and destroying it from the inside out. The mission was ultimately successful, and with this victory over the Enclave, a new dawn emerged. With the Enclave War coming to a close, and the influx in revolutionary tech recovered from Adams Air Force Base, the Brotherhood of Steel would make great strides in military advancement over the coming years, including the construction of a mobile airship known as the Prevail. However, shortly after this victory, the untimely demise of Elder Lyons and his daughter Sarah would throw the Brotherhood into turmoil. The now leaderless chapter would descend into chaos. Many new leaders were elected, but unfortunately all proved to be ineffectual and were promptly removed from the position. This was until the young teen Arthur Maxson rose to leadership in 2282. Master tactician, diplomat, and fresh off his victory against Shepard, the new war boss of the DC super mutants, Maxson was granted the title of Elder, which was approved by the West Coast Brotherhood of Steel, who had been observing the chapter this whole time. Maxson cemented his title after successfully reuniting the outcasts back into the fold, merging the Lions Doctrine with that of the old Brotherhood doctrine since before the migration east. With this new tenet established, a full-strength chapter, and a massive surge in military technology, the Capital Wasteland chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel cements itself as the region's dominant superpower, and Maxson, spurred on by ideology, set his sights on a new target. Over the years, whispers made their way to the ears of the Brotherhood. Rumors of advanced machines that look like humans, act like humans, but aren't human. Corpses found with strange mechanical components in them. People who mysteriously disappear, only to reappear, not quite right. Elder Maxson was not blind to this phenomenon, and ordered several scouting parties into the enigmatic Commonwealth to gather intel on these rumors, only for the reports returned to fill him with horror. The rumors were true. A mysterious organization known only as the Institute had been creating humanoid machines, replacing people, and wreaking havoc on the wasteland. Upon this discovery, Maxson orders his army to board the newly constructed Prydwen and departs for the Commonwealth, determined to cure the land of this plague or die trying. This is why the Brotherhood of Steel always wins. Now, dear legionaries, welcome to the Wasteland. The Commonwealth in the year 2287 exists as a tattered hellscape, infested with swarms of mutated, feral, and diseased abominations. Survivors of this wasteland cling to life in their desolation, praying for help to survive the horrors that lurk in the shadows. The pack of feral ghouls down the road, the encroaching super mutant cannibals, maniacal raiders, and bloodbug swarms are just a few of the horrors that haunt these lands. Amidst it all, a lone figure looms over the horizon, a vessel carrying with it more than just hope. When the Brotherhood arrives, they do so unopposed, as in the 200 years since the bombs fell, the survivors of this once thriving city were unable to rebuild. All the while, technological marvels that could have been their salvation lie right under their feet, buried in a steel coffin with the boogeyman. Only a single settlement seemed to find true success in these ruins, the great green jewel of the Commonwealth, secured behind the great walls of the old Fenway Park, now known as Diamond City. The city has made strides in stabilizing life for their denizens, such as the establishment of permanent shelters, renewable food, access to water, security measures, trade, and quality of life servicing. To add to this, they have also established a basic political system, living under the policies of an elected official, in this case, a mayor. And while Diamond City is a great start to what could turn into a Commonwealth conquering force, they lack the proper motivation to bring any sense of stability to the region. A sentiment that would echo in more ways than one throughout the reclamation of the Commonwealth. While the Brotherhood is partially here to stabilize the Commonwealth by eradicating the horrors that reside within it, such as super mutants and ghouls, their primary objective is the elimination of a specific entity, one that has plagued the hearts and minds of the Commonwealth citizens for decades, striking fear, uncertainty, and paranoia at the sheer mention of their name. During their most recent reconnaissance mission into the Commonwealth, Brotherhood scouts had reported back a strange signal, believed to be coming from the infamous Institute. It was after discovering this, and realizing it was the source of this synth threat, that Maxon approved this invasion, determined to find and destroy the Institute and their synthetic humanoids at all cost. What he believes to be abominations, insults to all mankind, technology that is too dangerous to be allowed to exist. Of all the organizations of the Commonwealth wasteland, only 2 factions attempt to oppose the Brotherhood, each for their own reasons. Naturally, the Institute, a society of subterranean scientists and remnants of the pre-war CIT, are opposed to their aggressors and wish to not be extinguished from existence, especially on the account that from their eyes, they are doing no wrong, merely advancing science, reimagining humanity, if you will. With the arrival of the Brotherhood, the Institute now finds themselves at a war on 2 fronts, as they were previously engaged with the other of these factions, the Railroad. Much like its historical namesake, the Railroad is a network of spies, soldiers, and safe houses designed to help Generation 3 synths escape captivity from the Institute. Seeing synths as more than simple machines brings them to odds with the greater wasteland, said Institute, and more importantly, the Brotherhood. Where the Brotherhood aims to destroy any and all synthetic life forms, the Railroad fights to protect them, and amongst this triangle of ideology lies the region's primary conflict. The Railroad maintains a small military force, organized into strike teams and spread out across the Commonwealth in order to protect synths and safe houses. These units are well equipped with armored battle coats and heavy weaponry, such as railway rifles and Gauss rifles. Seemingly well trained and experienced, the skill of a Railroad heavy outshines a majority of other combatants in the wasteland. However, they don't outshine the advanced training and experience of a Brotherhood soldier, or the sheer numbers behind an Institute assault team. While their strike teams are nothing to scoff at, the sheer amount of their opponents puts them at a huge disadvantage. The Railroad cannot support a long and drawn-out conflict, as their numbers of combatants are already low due to the ongoing assaults from the Institute. On top of this, the Recruitment suffers heavily from their secrecy, not to mention their ideology. An ideology that is not supported by the wider wasteland around them, as most wastelanders despise synths and those who help them. Even prior to the Brotherhood's arrival, the Railroad had suffered heavily from poor leadership and continues to lose in their conflicts against the Institute, recently surrendering their headquarters at the Switchboard after an Institute assault. In stark contrast to the Railroad, the Institute has proven to be a rightful force to be reckoned with. They maintain the general technological edge over both the Railroad and the Brotherhood, with their Generation 1 synths containing technology so advanced that it intimidated the Brotherhood scribe who was researching it. To top this, the Institute has the means to mass-produce synthetic foot soldiers, as well as advanced weapons and armor to equip them with, giving them a numbers advantage for large-scale assaults. In addition to this, the Institute utilizes the technology to teleport this army anywhere in the Commonwealth at a moment's notice. In combat, The Institute deploys assault teams made up of Generation 1 and 2 synthetics, with the majority of these teams being comprised of Generation 1 synths, led by a Generation 2, who is typically better equipped with an upgraded laser rifle and the Institute's own brand of synth armor. Both Generation 1 and 2 synthetics are tough to take down in combat and won't retreat even after having limbs blown clean off. While this is of great advantage against the meagerly armed and undertrained forces of the Commonwealth, the simplistic AI and combat programming of the Gen 1 and 2 synthetics is not enough to keep up with the advanced combat training and experience of their largest enemy, the Brotherhood of Steel. The Institute will sometimes deploy a Generation 3 synth of a unique variety to aid in combat. These synths are known as coursers, and are exceptional in skill, even amongst other Generation 3 synths. Coursers are quicker, stronger, and smarter than humans, and extremely well trained, with a single courser having been witnessed eliminating an entire building of heavily armed gunners. While a courser could likely take out a Brotherhood patrol single-handedly, their low numbers and the time it would take to replenish their ranks makes them too valuable to be put on the front lines against such a powerful foe. Due to this, coursers tend to be reserved for missions related to assassination of key figures, or retrieval of something the Institute deems necessary from the clutches of the wasteland. The Railroad has the training, the Institute has the numbers and technology, but the Brotherhood of Steel has all three in spades. Not only this, the Brotherhood has several other strategic advantages that neither faction can boast, with one notable advantage being air power. After their war with the Enclave, the Brotherhood recovered swaths of functioning vertibirds, and likely their means of production, from the wreckage of the various bases throughout the capital wasteland. These aircrafts provided the Brotherhood a means of deploying and retrieving troops to and from anywhere in the Commonwealth in a matter of minutes. Boasting an armored hull, advanced maneuverability, dual forward-facing machine guns, and a minigun on their side door, vertibirds are not only able to ferry entire squads in and out of dangerous areas, but are also able to eliminate hostiles with brutal efficiency, quickly clearing landing zones and providing air support to their troops on the ground. The Brotherhood's location at the old Boston airport, in conjunction with their air power, provides a further advantage for long-term occupation, with their main ship, the Prevail, coming equipped with all the essentials for an invading army. Essentials like a command center, vertibird docking and refueling station, air traffic control room, armory, medical bay, power armor bay, research station, crew quarters, mess hall, recreation area, and even a storage bay. In addition to this, the Prevail is heavily armored, providing it protection from the myriad of stray bullets and explosives that litter the Commonwealth. The armored hull being sturdy enough that anything short of artillery fire will leave the Prevail unscathed. In addition to this, their proximity to downtown Boston provides the Brotherhood a short route to recovering technology, technical documents, salvage, and supplies from the mutant-infested and largely unscavenged district, as well as the ability to reach anywhere in the Commonwealth from a relatively central location. Furthermore, their use of vertibirds would allow them to safely transport large loads of supplies, such as food from the various farming settlements that dot the countryside, if the farmers lend them their aid, that is. Not to mention, the Brotherhood's proximity to and immediate acquisition of Fort Strong allows it instant access to devastating artillery ammunition, an asset only matched by the Minutemen. But unlike the Minutemen, the Brotherhood is equipped with top-of-the-line arms and armor, with the average knight issued state-of-the-art T-60 power armor and energy weaponry. Their power armor provides Brotherhood soldiers with extreme protection from the elements, boasting a level of radiation resistance high enough to make the overwhelming radiation levels in the glowing sea inconsequential. To top this, their armor boasts the best possible protection from most types of weaponry, including firearms, melee weapons, unarmed weapons, and even weaker energy-based weapons such as the Institute's laser pistols and rifles. Power armor is so durable, in fact, that even its weaker variants are enough to repel continuous brutal attacks from mutants, rad scorpions, and even deathclaws. Power armor can also be outfitted with several enhancements, from increasing its durability to increasing the user's ability to mark and hit their targets, electrocuting enemies with Tesla coils, and even adding a flight capability via jetpacks. Add in the ability to survive falls from any height unscathed and the occasional mini-nuclear explosion, and a single Brotherhood Knight turns into a truly immovable object. In turn, the Brotherhood combines this superhuman defensive capability with the superior offensive firepower to turn their immovable object into an unstoppable force. The standard issue AER-9 laser rifle used by most knights and other foot soldiers is powerful enough to disintegrate their enemies, reducing them to mere piles of ash. Brotherhood units can also be seen using the more advanced plasma weaponry as well, with a single blast of superheated plasma being enough to instigate the spontaneous dissolution of its target down to the molecular level, leaving nothing behind but a pile of viscous glowing green goo. Higher-ranking knights and paladins not only have upgraded and more durable power armor, but also use the strongest weaponry available, having been witnessed using miniguns and the Gatling variants of both laser and plasma weapons, turning them into a terrifyingly powerful and dominating force to be reckoned with. This is all to complement the quality of their soldiers. While the war against the mutants in the capital wasteland created many casualties, it also created battle-tested, hardened veterans. Veterans that beat back hordes of vicious mutants in all-out trench warfare. Veterans that fought against the better trained and equipped Enclave warriors and won. Veterans that laugh in the face of danger and charge in head-on to engage the enemies of the Brotherhood. The best techniques are passed on by the survivors. The Brotherhood soldiers that survived the wars in the capital wasteland had raised the standards for training as they pass on their skill and knowledge to the next generation of recruits, resulting in the generation of soldiers that occupy the Commonwealth being generally superior in training to those in the capital wasteland 10 years prior. With the pacification of the capital wasteland, recruitment would have increased as well, leading to the Brotherhood ranks swelling with the influx of wastelanders wanting to fight the good fight. Since less immediate threats to the capital exist, new recruits would be able to undergo a longer training period before they were deployed to battle, resulting in a more linear progression of skill and decline in soldier mortality. This gives the Brotherhood access to something they never really had before, a truly large military force, an army that they could leverage against any enemy that dare oppose them, an army that they end up taking with them to the Commonwealth. This gives the Brotherhood a huge numbers advantage in the Commonwealth campaign, equaled only by the Institute and their mass production of synthetic soldiers. In the unlikely event that the Brotherhood is defeated, Elder Maxon would simply return with more troops in time, as he is unwilling to accept the Institute's existence and would make their destruction his lifelong pursuit. And if he were to die in the Commonwealth, the Brotherhood's religious devotion to Elder Maxon would spur another invasion, as they would certainly seek retribution for his death. Unless a faction were to invade the capital wasteland and destroy or destabilize the Brotherhood on their home turf, they will continue to rebuild and return until the Institute is wiped from the face of the planet. In order to defeat them in the Commonwealth, however, a faction would have to destroy their headquarters, and the Brotherhood is well protected from invasion. All access points into their headquarters at the old Boston airport are actively guarded by experienced Brotherhood soldiers equipped with extreme firepower to meet any force brave enough to challenge them. In addition to this, the whole base is protected by electromagnetic shielding that prevents the Institute from teleporting in synths behind the Brotherhood's lines, forcing any enemy to face the business end of their Gatling lasers should they decide to launch an offensive. In the unlikely event that an invading force manages to overpower the Brotherhood's lines, they would still be hard-pressed to take the base with the Pridwin looming overhead, providing reinforcements and air support to their troops on the ground. While most Wastelanders are at first wary of the Brotherhood forces, their advanced technology and brutal onslaught against the many mutant schools and synths inhabiting the Commonwealth would quickly gain favor with the local population. While most Wastelanders just want to live out their lives in peace, some would want to join the fight against the Boogeyman, leading to a surge in Brotherhood support amongst the local population and an influx in recruitment within the Commonwealth. Working much like an annexed territory, the Brotherhood would then have the means to conscript these Wastelanders should their forces ever need bolstering. However, it doesn't appear as if the conflict would call for such tactics, as the Brotherhood is already wiping the floor with their competition. Not to mention, they also have a hidden ace up their metallic sleeve. When departing for the Commonwealth, Elder Maxon ordered that the remnants of the mighty Liberty Prime combat system be loaded upon the Pridwin to accompany them into the region, where it would undergo repairs to restore it to full functionality. During their occupation of the Commonwealth, the Brotherhood would strip the wasteland for the necessary parts and ammunition to repair and restock Liberty Prime, eventually leading to its complete reconstruction, with several upgrades from its previous iteration, dubbing it the new and improved Liberty Prime Mark II. With the reconstruction effort underway, several problems with Liberty Prime were addressed and corrected. Prime's power system was completely obliterated by the orbital strike that had been his undoing, prompting the Brotherhood to develop a new power system for the Iron Giant. By developing a new and improved power system, problems with his CPU had been rectified, as the previous power system utilized by the robot had been so complex that it caused his CPU to blow whenever Brotherhood scribes fed it power. Furthermore, improper salvaging of Prime's memory core, which already had issues due to its lack of inertial dampeners and a titanium shock casing, had caused it to become corrupted. This doesn't stay a problem for long, however. Enlisting the aid of a professional in robotics, the Brotherhood is able to restore the memory core back to functionality. Just in time, too. With the internal functions of Liberty Prime restored, the Brotherhood focused its efforts on the external functions. Not only did the orbital strike obliterate Prime's power system, but also dealt a crippling blow to the robot's limbs, necessitating a complete rebuild of his joints. Luckily, the Brotherhood was able to reconstruct these parts out of electromagnetic actuators. These high-powered magnets allowed the robot increased maneuverability and a subtle increase in marching speed. Once repaired and restocked with modified nuclear bombs from the nearby Sentinel Site Prescott in the Glowing Sea, all Prime required was reactivation of his fusion reactor, a task which the Brotherhood was able to pull off with ease after recovering an experimental beryllium agitator from mass fusion. With Liberty Prime restored to full functionality, any force opposing the Brotherhood no longer stands a chance. This gargantuan commie-blasting automaton having single-handedly annihilated the superiorly trained and equipped Enclave forces on several occasions, completely turning the tide of a war that would have otherwise ended in a single offensive in favor of the Enclave. Once activated on the tarmac of the Brotherhood's base at Boston Airport, Liberty Prime proceeds on a destructive path to the old CIT ruins, heavily opposed, but far from challenged. Once it arrives, Liberty Prime scanners are easily able to locate the Institute under the building, and not even this slows down the Goliath. Prime immediately fires his Liberty laser at the base of the building, boring a massive hole in the ground and opening an entry point for the unstoppable Brotherhood forces to invade. The rest, as you can imagine, is history. Thank you so much for watching. I feel that the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 4 is heavily underestimated by many fans of our Fallout community, and I hope this video will help to shed some light on just how hopeless it was for anyone who attempted to oppose their invasion. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you can be part of our wonderful community here. Lastly, if you want to support the channel further, leave me a super chat or pick up a unique piece of merchandise from the TheNeoCypher store. You can also share pictures of you and your new merch with me on Instagram. I would love to see them. Links to both will be in the description below. Thank you again for watching, and until we meet next, Wale Amicus.